Are we all just making it up? This is a very loaded question. And this is a question I've been passionate about for a long period of time. I am at its core a football purist. And what does that mean to me? To me, at my core, I am a person who enjoys the game of football. At my core, I'm able to watch football games and enjoy the game of football no matter what team is playing. I can enjoy the minutia and the nuance between, offense and defense and running the ball and tackling and blocking. I love just the X's and O's and everything. Sometimes, and I'm, we're blessed to have a guy like Tyvis that's on, and make sure you check out Tyvis and all this stuff he's doing. We just blessed to have a guy like that to be able to, articulate some of the things that are going on that played in the NFL. I'm blessed to be able to text a Joe Thomas or text a Bernie Kosar and get their ideas on certain concepts that I see or certain things that I'm watching on the game and get some further insight on. So to me, I just love the game of football as a strategy, as a sport. I love what it does to build young men. And that's why I call myself a football purist, right? But you do have to also understand that when you get into the media, and the media football game is different from the regular football game. The way people announce and go about covering the game is completely different from the way you learned and the way you enjoy it as a pure football fan or a football person who played the game and has been in the game for over 25, 30 years, right? And so in this clip, we're going to get to it first. I'm going to slowly burn up to this, get this thing smoldering. Deshaun Watson talks a little bit about his feelings on social media, right? And I enjoy this type of commentary because Deshaun gets to, show who he is, and he gets to show his opinion and have his opinion. And one of the things that we've learned so much is that we've gotten so cocky and arrogant with it that we believe that the only people that are allowed to tell their true feelings and tell their story or tell how they feel are fans and people in the media. I don't understand how we got to a point where an athlete can't say how he feels or he can't react to certain things. We think these guys are robots. Deshaun Watson has, Quincy Avery asked him about, how does he feel about, do you see some of the noise? What do you think about it? And his thoughts on it. And we'll continue down this road of, do we really understand what's going on, or are we just kind of going on our own headcanon in terms of certain things? Let's get to it.
I mean, I see it because, it pops up. The way the news feed is, it pops up, so you see it, and you don't try to read it, but your name pop up, so you want to see what's going on. But, people going to have their own opinions, but, I'm to the point where it's just like, it ain't even about football to most people no more. You know what I'm saying? It's their personal opinions that don't even know me, so it's just like the football part, like, the people that see me every day, the people that play against me, compete against me, they know what's up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna compete hard. I'm a football player. I'm gonna give everything I got. I still got a lot of talent, a lot of left in it, and it's just like it ain't no sugarcoat behind that. You feel me? And I feel like, again, like if I wasn't good, if I wasn't capable of doing these things, then I wouldn't be talked about. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what's the reason why you continue to, you feel me? And, you know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is.
Nah, that is a fact.
That clip is, courtesy of the QB Unplugged. And what he's talking about there is, he kind of alluded to this. We was on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We kind of talked about it. A lot of these poll questions and a lot of these, stuff in the offseason is based on rankings and, understanding and kind of, looking in the crystal ball and forecasting where the Browns will end up, where they have them ranked in the NFL, all those good things. Those are all make-believe things that we make up, right? Those questions of who's the top quarterback in head coach tandem, whose offense is the most explosive, who do you think is going to take the next best jump? Like, those things are things that, when you get into the media, those are made up conversations that you have so that you can keep the interest of fans as things go along during the season. A lot of this stuff isn't even really based in anything. It's just based in conjecture, based in your personality, and based on somebody's basically opinion. And so one of the things that we talk about there, and he kind of gets into it at the end. a lot of times what people are saying is not based in fact. And this doesn't need to necessarily go to Deshaun Watson. This could be anyway. A lot of what we do, and this is kind of a thing that I'm just letting you guys in on, is a lot of it is based on how can we generate some interest. People, if you want to, call it clickbaity, there are some people that do that, but most of it is the media's job is to create angles, to create narratives, to create conversation amongst the fans and to generate content, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, any industry that's very that's lucrative does the same thing. Hollywood is the same way. TV is the same way. There's a reason we have tabloids, and there's a reason that people are celebrities, right? We are infatuated with celebrities, right? And our culture is driven by those guys, right? I mean, our president is the biggest celebrity superstar that there's ever had, a former president. He's running again, Donald Trump. And listen, he started as a media guy. So, that just goes to show you how enthralled we are with we like call to personalities. We like people with big bombastic voices. Heck, I'm a person that has a big voice. Not that I'm everywhere or something. It's just the fact that I'm opinionated, and that's what resonates with people on either side. So, but he does say something there, right? And I've always thought this to be weird. And in the comment section, I go to the comments. People say never leave the comment section, right? But I do it because I want to get to the pulse and I want to understand how people think. And so as Deshaun Watson is talking about people, writing these stories and doing certain things about it, I always found it strange that people feel like they can give their opinion on certain things, but you can't either. So this is a comment that I took and kind of took a screenshot of it for below that I kind of want to go over and look at really quickly and just show you that the crazy part of the game and how we look at certain things today. So this is a comment. He put this out underneath the video, and he says, whoever this guy is, anonymous, of course, I see a lot of Deshaun Watson commenting like this, and it's bad for him. I always question how what's bad or good for somebody. We kind of project on everybody in the world, and this is a comment talking about him not commenting. I see a lot of Deshaun Watson commenting like this, and it's bad for him. He has not gotten to the point where he knows and expects the media game. He needs to rise above it to expect just dramatic headlines or ridiculous takes. Media changes their take week to week because they're just a cog in the wheel of the entertainment industry. Watch how Kevin rises above the media. Reacting is the first sign that the media is in your head. My suggestion is to expect it, not to react to it. Play well and care about the legacy, not jerk journalists. When you're retired, the only thing you'll think about is your stats, team playoff championships performance, and your teammates, not thousands of archive posts of social media that weren't meant to be consumed with 1 or 2 day period. Deshaun Watson, please consider this. We know how much of this game is mental. So with that take, right, there's some nuggets in there that I think are coming from a place of solid thought process. I don't think you can be a person that's obsessed with social media and be on there all the time, and every time somebody says something, you're subtweeting somebody or you got burner accounts everywhere, and you spend half of your waking time talking about trying to rebuttal what some idiot on Twitter says. But I do think that one of the things that we need to talk about is the fact that when you are a quarterback and you are a media member and you are a person or an individual that is a public figure, we got to realize that these guys are people too. When your name pops up, it's human nature to look and see what it is that people are talking about. Sometimes I think we don't look at psychology and sociology and understand that us as humans, we are programmed to seek the validations of others. We are programmed to want to be around each other. We are social creatures, right? That's why one of the worst things you can ever have done to you is be put in solitary confinement. We are built to be in packs. We are built to be in rooms in different places where we want people to think well of us. It's just chemistry. It's human nature. So when somebody does say something bad about you, obviously he's not going to go on social media and start typing back to somebody he doesn't know. But to think that you're not a human and you can't express that, that type of stuff you do see is ridiculous, right? I mean, he's a human just like everybody else is, right? It's about how you handle that. And I think sometimes a lot of people got all these great questions and great things to say about how you go about handling yourself when they've never been in that position. And that's what the heart of this conversation goes to is, yes, just because we are fans and we really want these people to play well and the media covers this team does not know we are now gotten to the point where everybody thinks that because you say it loud enough and angry enough and you're the loudest person in the room and you rebuttal and you filibuster, that means you're smart. That doesn't mean you're smart or intelligent. That means you're just a guy that yells over people. At the end of the day, it's about your actual knowledge of what's going on. And Deshaun Watson goes about this and questions, do we really know what's going on? And I had to sit back and tell myself, oh my goodness, he's right. And it's a confession from a media member.
But what I was thinking about is I watch Twitter all the time, not just you, but all different quarterbacks. And I see how people talk about things that I feel like they don't know a lot about. Like they'll talk about, like I saw a tweet the other day said, Brock Purdy didn't miss one throw in warm-ups today. I'm like, bro, it's warm-ups.
Crazy. I seen you quote that tweet. I seen you quote that tweet. And like, it's probably like, it's
stupid. Or somebody see like Bryce Young take a drop, be like, wow, you could just see the changes. I'm like, what changes do you, for a living? Literally my life.
How do you know what they changing? Like, are you sitting in those meetings? Are you sitting like in any of that stuff? No, you don't know, bro. You don't know the timing. You don't know what they're coaching.
That's the thing. People will say they don't know if it's a bad throw or miscommunication on a route, right? So every time I see a throw, complete or not complete, I have no idea, like, did the quarterback throw a good ball? Did the receiver run the wrong route, right? Because you're working on things in OTAs. I don't know who was right, who was wrong. I watch people in drills. I don't know what they're drilling or what they're trying to work on, so I can't say, was that a good rep? Was that a bad rep? When I see a quarterback throw, if I've never spent, like, real time with that quarterback, know what their limitations are, know what they're physically capable or incapable of doing, there's no way I can say, like, are they at their peak? Are they not at their peak? Because everybody does things differently. The way CJ throws a ball is not the same way that you throw a football, right? Because your bodies move differently. You know what I'm saying? So I see all these different, and I just hate seeing people talk about what somebody's doing in OTAs or practice, because the only thing that really matters is the game.
See, now they cooking. Now they are cooking, and G. Bush, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be a longer video. So guess what? You're going to get some free extra stuff from me because I think this needs to have some time put on it. They are cooking now, and they are telling you the deep, dark secrets of what everybody in the media, including myself, participates in. Because it is the OTAs, because it is the offseason, because we don't have anything to talk about and the games aren't happening, the NFL has created a 24-hour, 7 days a week cycle. The content is overflowing. The algorithms on YouTube tell you that. If you don't have a video every single day, they're not going to suggest your videos to anybody. You got to have consistent content because if you don't put the content up, they're going to start sending it to other people. Go watch that podcast. If you do Brown's content, if you ain't putting a video up every day, you're crazy. So ask yourself a question. How is it that you put a video up every day on something that is not happening? Nothing's happening. No games have taken place. No touchdowns are scored. There's been nothing happening. It's imaginary. It's topics that you conjure in order to engage with your audience who's enthusiastic about the game or about a team. And the problem is we have gotten to the point where the media forgets that we understand what it is. It's entertainment. We've gotten to the point, we've done it so much and so well that people are now believing their own make-believe conjured stuff. People believe this stuff now because you do it so much. There's only 17 games. And because the cycle continues to roll on and on and on and on, you come up with these thought processes. When you sit there, and I love the fact that he talks about it specifically. When you go to a practice, unless you are in the meeting room where people are installing, coaching, and teaching, you have no clue what they are working on or not working on. They could come out there and say, we working on 3-step drops all game. We're not running no 5 or 7-step drops. So you get to the field and say, well, wow, maybe Deshaun Watson can't throw the ball over 5 or 6 yards because it was a bunch of short throws at practice. No, maybe they were just working on a short passing game. Do you know that? No, because you're not in a meeting. When you talk about practice things and guys working on something, sometimes they may go into it and say, listen, we want to throw 7-step drops, and we want to work on this post pattern against cover 3, cover 2, and see what works. Or we might want to come out and we think we're going to get this defense, right? We're going to find out every play that is bad against this defense. And what's the optimum position if we do see this coverage? Can we throw it here or can we not? You don't know that. You don't have the script. You don't have the plays. You don't have anything in front of you. You don't even know really specifically what the coaching and coaching points are unless you're in the room. And then you don't know what the call was. And I always say this, on every single route, especially when you're running choice routes, for you to complete a pass, 5 to 6, 7 things need to happen in concert. That just doesn't boil down to whether the quarterback does his thing or not. The quarterback has to drop back. He has to read the defense in coverage. He must first understand what coverage they're throwing and then anticipate what the receiver will run. If the receiver does not run or see the same coverage, he's going to change his route. And if he changes his route, the quarterback will throw to a place or throw to where he's supposed to be, because that's what you need to do in the league and anticipate. And the ball will be either incomplete or it would look crazy. Now, if you don't know whose fault it was, did the quarterback read the right coverage or did the receiver read the right coverage? You don't know that unless you know what the coverage was, what the call was, and what the specific target was. So when people say he looked great in practice, it was his fault that he threw these interceptions, he's inaccurate. Was he inaccurate or did the receiver run the wrong route? Can you tell me what route they were supposed to run? Because everybody has different option routes. There's 3 to 4 different things you can do based on that. Not only do you need to do that, you need to be able to diagnose the blitzes when they're coming from. Sometimes the quarterback gets, and then you have to line that up with what your center is seeing. And then the running back has to understand, right? So the running back has to check the edge and see if a defender is coming. The center has to call out the offensive line plays to see who's coming on blitzes. And the quarterback has to acknowledge that. Sometimes you can't block all of them. You got to throw hot. Sometimes the quarterback looks up and they blitz bluff and, oh, guess what? No one's coming. We thought everybody was blitzing. This is why the game of football is so meticulous. And when you boil it down to just 1 or 2 things and have it be whether the quarterback is good or bad, that just shows you that we're not into what happens. We're into making it happen. And that comes with writing, doing things we do. And as a media member, nobody will tell you that. We do that. Nothing that we talk about, but continue to watch UCSS. Nothing that we talk about is anything of consequence on that field.
These guys are working on things to get better for the game. It isn't. You could go out there and throw 10 interceptions in practice one day and get better because you're like, okay, I can't do that now. All right, next time.
You're trying. That's the whole point of practice, is to be able to. I'm practicing in this throw. Can I make this throw in this situation versus this defender versus this coverage? And it's like, yeah, like you can sit here and be like, oh, everyone is doing good. No, like that's the whole point, is to be able to try out different things. Okay, can we do this? Can we not do this? Can this player do this? Can this player not do this? We're working on things. It's not so much of like, we need to have everything mastered right now, Like, you throw the whole playbook in the spring and see what guys can handle. All right, can we handle this? What are we good at? What can guys process most? Is it this type of offense? Is it this type of offense? Is it this run game? Is it this pass game? Like, what are the defenses? What are we good at going against? All right, the defense is showing a lot of cover two today. Are we good versus zone coverage, cover two, making those decisions? Like, are we very good versus man coverage? All right, defense is playing a lot of man coverage today because this is what Stefanski want, and Dorsey, you gotta bring your man beaters. So it's like, yeah, all that. Man, most of the media people don't know, man.
It's so much to it, and people got no idea.
That'd be, yeah, for sure.
And they'd be the first ones to talk. I'd be like, shut up. But that's why I get so mad looking at Twitter.
I like that. I like he tells people to shut up. I like that too. I get angry and mad at Twitter too. Because there's a thing, go back and check out Joe Rogan, right? Terrence Howard, the actor, broke the internet because he was talking about his new equations and rethinking math and all these different things, right? And he called Neil deGrasse Tyson out, who was one of the former, he's just a genius. I don't know what he's a cosmologist, physicist, or whatever he is, but everybody knows him, right? And basically, Neil deGrasse Tyson comes back on and says, Terrence Howard was upset at him because he told him to look at one of his papers in a paper that was like 36 pages or something based on like his new thought processes about physics and math and stuff. And, as a peer, he gave him a peer review. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, one of the most brilliant people in the world, gives him a peer review, basically questioning and showing through data and facts that, some of his thought processes were either completely wrong, have already been debunked or proven to be inaccurate, or sometimes you need a little more thought and a little more conjecture with it to explain what you're talking about, right? And he said, I thought I was doing him a favor because that's what you do as a colleague. You issue your work to other people, and other people who have dedicated their lives to something will tell you whether you're factually wrong or you're incorrect or if you're on the right track and you're genius. But not in this game, right? So, but not in the media. No, like you don't need any of that. Like you just need to say it louder or talk faster or, call names or do things like that. Instead of devoting your time to watching film or devoting your time to looking around and understanding the game or trying to call people and figure out, am I factual in this, or how do teams go about practicing? How do teams go about scouting? How do teams go about identifying the areas or putting a game plan together? Instead of doing that, they just go right to the next step. And the next final step is, let me make an assessment based upon my own thought processes that I haven't really done or have anything about. It's like, I can't go. I've seen, rockets take off from Cape Canaveral in Florida, but I'm not a rocket scientist, bro. I can't go into a NASA meeting and be like, I've seen this a couple of times. I've seen some ships go in space. I've been watching Science Channel. Let me tell you, these guys they're not taking what I'm saying seriously. They're like, dude, where's your degree from? Did you have any internships? Did you write any scientific journals? What is your thesis paper for your doctorate? Oh, I don't have any of those. Well, what did you do? I just saw I watched the Science Channel. I know who Neil deGrasse Tyson is, and I know who Stephen Hawking is. I should be able to come and tell you. It don't work that way. And so, as a media member, one thing that I want to give you guys in context, I'm going to let you guys know and just come on in real quick. Ain't nobody going to tell you this, because the more you say, I guess the more, opportunities you feel like you'll get, or the more, clicks or the more subscribers or whatever the case may be. Every single day, there's new stuff that comes out with football. For me, I think one of the most intimidating things is when you play football 20 years ago, you're a dinosaur. You're out of here. You know what I'm saying? There's new concepts, there's new passing strategies, new blocking. The way they go about blocking and tackling and doing all things is changing every 3 to 4 years. So one of the things that you always got to keep in context with is the game that you knew when I was playing back in the early 2000s at a college level don't exist no more. It's a new game. The concepts are still the same, but there's also some new strategy and stuff that you always got to keep up on. And for me, I let you guys know that, guess what? I don't know everything. And the best thing in the world, and Neil deGrasse Tyson said this as well. If you think, if you're the smartest person in the room, go find another room to be in. because there's always, I want to be the dumbest person in the smartest room. I want to be able to be educated and understand that like some stuff I'm saying is wrong. And when you're watching television and you're watching the game and we're breaking it down on any platform, always remember this. It's entertainment. That's what it is now. If you tried to be in this game and you weren't entertaining and you just knew all football, that don't work. If you are simply entertaining and don't know anything, that doesn't work. If you are, you can't technically, speak in a way where people can understand you, or that it flows correctly, or you don't have the tone and vocal presence and all that other stuff, it don't work. You have to have it all. I'm just letting you guys know that when we do go through certain things, and then when some people do tell you certain things, always remember, there's always enough knowledge out there just to be dangerous. And what that basically means is, yes, you can obtain enough knowledge that you can sound competent in, but you haven't studied long enough to realize that you're just at the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much more than meets the eye, and this ain't Transformers.